Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and this is the second part of redrawing a finger box. And I started thinking about it while the other video was loading. And you've done your test cuts and it fits. That's what you need to do first. So if you haven't seen the first video, make your test cuts right here. And I stated in the video that the thickness of the wood isn't that big a factor because you could sand off the part that sticks out past this joint. And I started thinking about it. You could eliminate that by changing that if your test joints fit. Don't do this if your test joints don't fit. It's not going to be worth it. You could take your shape tool. Well, let's do this first. Let's measure, like we did on the first video, or let's measure our joint. It's 0.16 wide, which is 3/100ths of an inch wider than it needs to be. So this is going to stick out past your wood. And I think if you did this on all the sides, it would work and you wouldn't have to sand it off. Especially if you're working with something and you don't really want to sand. Take your shape tool. And you don't have to do them all at one time. And it might be easier not to do them all at one time so you make sure you don't get. And I'm not so sure it's going to matter if you do the outside or the inside, but we're going to do the outside of our joint. So grab your shape tool, click on it, and let's get, well, first of all, let's change our nudge distance to 0.03. That's going to be the difference because we need 0.13. So let's grab our shape tool, select all these nodes, and just cursor over to the right, one click. Now we've done those, so it's kind of marked these off. And the reason I'm doing it is because when you get down in here, you don't want to grab that other node. And just remember, we grabbed the outside, so we're going to grab the outside and click it over. So now that's going to work. And then you would do it on the bottom, on this side, and do all your parts. Now it's going to take some time, but if you do not know how to draw and you found a box you really like, it would be beneficial. Now we have made these lines cut past, but that has nothing to do with it because this line is going to cut to that line. And if it cuts a little bit past, big deal because it's cutting the wood anyway. Anyway, if you did that all the way around, now let's measure our joint. Take our parallel dimension tool and go from that node to that node. We got the magical 13. So these joints would not stick out past the other joints. Now, once again, I suggest you do that on all these joints. You would have to now, because you'd have some that are too long and some that are just right. But once again, I would only do it if you tested your cuts first and it fit. Because if it doesn't fit, it doesn't matter if it's too long or not. It's not going to fit. If it's too loose, you can glue it. If it's too tight, you could try rubber hammering it. But if it's way too tight, you'll break pieces. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.